So starting off with the Selenium, that what actually, whenever we says that we are learning Selenium, so first question comes up that what actually Selenium is, right? So over here, whenever you will go to the official website of Selenium, in the font over here, you will find that Selenium automates browser. Now when we talk about automating browsers, any browser that you can think of, the Selenium will help you to automate it. But it will not automate the desktop based applications, like somewhere around we have to upload some of the things from our system only. So at that time Selenium will not help. For that there is some another code. Fine. But any browser or any kind of automation you think on the browsers, the Selenium can help you in that. Now talking about the version of Selenium. Now Selenium is having a number of versions that are available and they are working fine as well. Recently also a new version has came up, that is Selenium 4. The Selenium 4 version, the alpha version, just has released this year only in the month of May. But right now it's not that stable. It has some bugs and things that needs to be resolved by their end. So what we are going to do is we are going to take on the stable version. Fine. And since this is with Python, so for Python the stable version is 3.141.0. And along with Python, Selenium can work in another languages as well, like Ruby, Java, C# and JavaScript, which also have their stable versions in the same series 3. Fine. Selenium comes in with version 2 as well, but since the Selenium 3 has been evolved much and it has more better commands, that's why that version 2 of Selenium has been obsoleted. That's not in use now. People do use it but not that much. Fine. So we are going to work with Selenium and Python. This version will be 3.141, and regarding the version of Python, that I'll come to it in a moment. Now moving further, that Selenium is available in this much languages. So how will Selenium differentiate that which particular language is being giving the command? Right. So what actually happens is, whenever if I say that I'm thinking of some browser, it can be any browser that I can think of. It can Chrome, Firefox, Edge, Internet Explorer, any. Yes, I'm recording the session. Okay. Okay, you already know what Selenium is, but you want to learn with Python, right? Okay. So in that case, still for the revision, we can just take it in some words. If you have already worked with Selenium and Java, then you must have been informed that browser understands a specific language, that is JavaScript, right? So ultimately, all the languages gets converted into that particular language, and they're fired on browser. Now coming to the things, as you are saying that you have already been done. So this is the course curriculum that I have decided that we will be proceeding on day by day. So as I said, the installations and downloading will be done today, and from tomorrow onwards we'll be looking at the installation of the EXEs, adding the browsers, adding the EXEs into the environment variables and all. Fine. Now learning Selenium with Python will require 3 components. The first component is the programming language. So programming language is Python. Now Python is a very easy and composed language as compared to Java, because in Java there are so many restrictions that you need to follow. Bind the stuff into the classes and call them in a particular manner. But Python is little legible and provides you a lot of flexibility. Okay, so when we have to download Python, what we need to do is just go to your browser, whichever you want to, and look for download Python. Okay, the very first link that you will get on the page will be python.org. Now this is the official link of Python. Okay, when you have to download it, you will open this particular URL and the recent release that just has came up will be available at the very top over here, Python 3.8.4. Now according to your system configuration, you can get it downloaded from here if you have Windows or Linux, Mac or any other. Fine. But it's always recommended, because what Python does is it keeps on releasing the new versions. Like 2 weeks ago, there was Python 3.8.3, which was the recent version over here. But now it has been 8.4. So it's always better to get one version older than the recent version. So it's requested that please download Python 3.8.3 that you will be getting. If you'll scroll down more, you will find number of releases below. There are 2 tables. First one is bug releases. This is not what you have to download. This one, the Python releases. Fine. Over here you will find Python 3.8.3. You need to get it downloaded. Fine. Once you'll click on it, it will start downloading the executable file. Just need to click next, next, next. But before that, once you'll run that executable file, it will ask you a prompt like this. Install Python. Right, whichever version you have, that will be written over here. You need to make sure that you need to check this checkbox while installation. The benefit of this is that checking this check mark will automatically add Python into your environment variables of the system. You don't have to go manually and get it added into the variables. Just click on that. Fine. It has number of another benefits as well, like when you have to make the project and that time you have to add the interpreter, it will automatically be picked up. So do remember to check this checkbox and then click on install now and click on next, next, next. Fine. Once your installation is completed, what you can do is, just to check whether the installation is completely done or not, just go to your command prompt and over here just type Python. If you get 3 arrows, just a minute. If you get these 3 arrows, that means your Python is properly installed into your system and you can work with it. Fine. Now we are not going to write the code over here. It's just a way to check whether Python installation is done or not. Okay. After that, the first component is to install the programming language. Now coming to the second component is basically the place where we are going to write the code. That is our IDE. In Java we use Eclipse, but for Python there are 2 different IDEs that are available and you can work with both of them. First one is PyCharm, which is the IDE that people use to work with Python. Okay. Now this PyCharm comes in 2 different variants. One is the paid version and one is the free version. If I'll show you both of them, that where you will get them downloaded. Just simply again you need to go to your favorite browser and look for download PyCharm. Okay. The official website to download the PyCharm is jetbrains.com. This provides the PyCharm IDE. When you will click on it, the website will show you these 2 versions, the professional version and the community version. Now professional version along with Python support gives you additional support of HTML, JavaScript and SQL. So if you want to work with Python in future as well, if you think of that, you can get the paid version. You can take the free trial. If you like it, you can just get the paid version by paying some amount. Fine. But if you want PyCharm to just use the Python language, just need Python into the system, no one other support, then you can go for the free version, that is community version. You just need to click on this download. Once you will click on this download, it will start downloading the exe. Over here you can see. Now this will take some time to download. Once it's done, you will start installing it. It's an executable file, easy to download, easy to install, and once it's completed, you can keep it anywhere you want. I have already downloaded it and installed it, so it's lying over here in my system. I'll just will show you how the welcome screen looks like. Okay. It will ask you a number of things that whether you want the basic changes or the advanced changes you want. Even though in the free also it will ask, you can switch to any of those according to your wish. Fine. The welcome screen of PyCharm recent version looks like this. It's preparing to open the PyCharm projects which are already made, but we'll be creating the new project, so let's just let it complete. Yeah. We'll just close this project. Okay. Yeah. So when you will open the PyCharm for the first time, this will be the three options that you will be getting. You just need to open a project. So over here you will be going wherever you want to create the workspace, whichever codes you are going to write, you can choose accordingly. Over here I'm going to have it in D drive. And I'll choose this folder that I've just created. Okay. The workspace has been ready where I want to start off with. I'll choose the same workspace. Now I'll create a new project. Now creating a project, name you can give any. If I'll name this as demo. After that, right now my interpreter is set over here. That's why it's not giving me all the options. But when you will create your project for the first time in PyCharm, there will be a number of options given over here. There will be a number of things that are given over here. Out of those, the interpreter is the most important one. Over here, you can see that it has taken the existing interpreter. So what you need to do is, whenever you will get this screen, just click on the options over here and look for the system interpreter. While installation of Python, if you have checked that checkbox, it will automatically pick up the Python language from the location where it is lying. In any case you have not checked it, then you have to go manually and have your interpreter fixed over here. Fine, so do remember to check that checkbox. It will be very easy for you. Okay, so I'll click this and I'll just will go back. Yeah, just a minute. this one. Okay, yeah. So once it is done, it will go on. You can click on, I have already done it, so it's not giving me the option to click OK. You need to click on OK and your project will be created. Fine. Now your project is ready. Inside the project, this is, before going to the project, this is the project explorer. As many as projects you will be creating, they all will be displayed over here. This is the workspace. The code that you will be writing will be at this location. Okay. Along with that, PyCharm keeps on giving you tips and informations. You can read them if you want. That's beneficial. Now to move on, in the Project Explorer, if you need to create the new project packages and new files, just right click over this button, go to New, and over here you can see that it's giving me the options to create a Python package and Python file. So you can create any of the two according to your project structure which you want to keep as manageable as you want. I just want to create a Python file, so I'll name it as basic. Okay. Now inside this, now I'm not going to write any big code. I'm just going to write a simple print statement, and printing these statements in Python is way too easy. Instead of writing system.out.println, it's just print, and you can give anything. So I'll say this is my first code in PyCharm. Now over here in PyCharm, there is thing that when you have ended your statement, your code is ended, you need to make sure that you press enter, because Python is a interpreted language which interprets line by line. So at the end of every line, it expects an end of line character. That means the line has ended. So do make sure to press enter, otherwise it will give you a warning that I am expecting a end of line character, and it will give you an unexpected error as well sometimes. Okay, so now you can see that there is no error that's coming up, no pop-up line that is coming up. This is done. Now comes that how I can run this code. In PyCharm, there is a benefit that you can create different configurations to run your different codes. Like if I have basic and I have another module which is basic 2. So to run both of them, I can have different configurations. And to add those configurations, you can see over here that I am getting add configuration button. Just need to click on this and this kind of screen will be shown up. Just you need to click on this plus Python, and now over here it will ask you that what is the name of the configuration you want to give. If you are creating number of configurations, then it's requested to give the same name of the script which you are going to run in that particular configuration. Okay, so I'm going to run basic using this configuration, so I've named it basic. Then I have to give the path of that script which I want to run using this one. Right, so this is the script path that I have. That's done. Interpreter is already fixed over here. We have already fixed it. So it's done. Just click on apply and OK. So now over here you will see that I have got this basic. Now I can run the code basic using this. I can run it from here, this button that you can see, the green button. I'll run it and the console gets highlighted, and the same print statement that I have given over here in the workspace, it's being printed, so that my code is running fine. The same way, if I want to add more configuration, I can add more configurations as well. Just the same steps. Now I have it for, sorry? Yes. You will not get the option. Yeah. It's totally that PyCharm is this only that it allows you to make different configurations, which will confuse you as well that which configuration is going to run which code. That is why I'm saying the same name configuration will be beneficial if you're using PyCharm. Okay. Yeah. So if I have to make it for basic 2, then I'll name it as this, and again the script path I need to give. And the second configuration is ready over here. You can see now I have 2 configurations. Okay, so if I'll have to run basic 2, I'll be using the second configuration. Now I have nothing in my basic 2 module, but still it's running fine. Okay, so this is PyCharm. Since this is having a number of configurations, so I personally do not prefer working with PyCharm because it makes you confused when you are having a number of codes that you need to run. So we don't work, so in the course, we are not going to work with PyCharm. We are going to work with different IDE, that is Eclipse. Now you must have heard about Eclipse because Java works on Eclipse, right? So downloading Eclipse, yeah. So you must have it in your system, but still I will be covering it that how we can download Eclipse because that is something that I need to cover. Now whenever you go to browsers and write for Eclipse download, you actually don't get the Eclipse ID, Eclipse executable file. You get an installer in which there are different packages available. If you will click on this, the number of packages that are listed over here, all these packages will be available to you in the installer when you install the Eclipse, right? So you click on any and you just install it. But whenever you have installed Eclipse, you must have observed that there is no option to create a Python project or Python packages into it. Why? Because Eclipse is a IDE which is to work with Java. Now it works with Java usually. Another like PHP and C#, all those work on it, but not Python. But still we can work with Eclipse using Python. How? We just need a plugin to be installed. Fine. That plugin I'll be showing you, and I'll also will show you that a recently downloaded Eclipse will not have an option to create any of the Python project. Okay, so if I'll just open up that installer, so over here, as I said, all the packages that were listed over there in the download packages list, all those packages are still available over here. And this installer I have installed months ago, and all those are still here. I can download any of those up to my wish. So I'll just will get this enterprise Java developer. You need to have JDK into your system to work with Eclipse. So I'll just will install Eclipse. so that I can show you the freshly installed Eclipse. The installation of Eclipse do take time. It takes around 2 to 3 minutes to get installed sometimes. So just wait. Robot framework. Right now we are working on those frameworks. Right now we are improving the frameworks which are already existing. There were some issues, so we are improving them. Once they are completed, we'll be proceeding with the rest of the frameworks like Page Object Model and the other frameworks as well. So you'll be notified once they are updated. Okay? Yeah. Any other doubts or any other questions that you have? You may go for it. Okay. Mobile automation with Python. Uh, y- yeah, right now I'm not sure about it, but I'll just will look that whether it's possible or not. Then I'll let you know, because that's something that we have not looked till far. We have been focusing on something else, but I'll do make sure that I'll let you know. Okay? Yeah. So Eclipse is over here installed. I'll just will launch it. Now how it looks like, what's the welcome screen that you all know, what's the workspace, package explorer, everything that you know. Right. So it will open up, it will ask for the location where I want to keep all my workspace save. That all will be done. Like over here it's asking me. I don't want it over here. No, we'll be working with Eclipse. You will find out why I'm saying so. Because Eclipse is more easier to work with Python as well. As it is with Java, Eclipse is more easier than PyCharm. You'll understand why. Yeah. Yeah, that we can do, but there are no other students as well that also will be joining. So we'll just discuss with them that whether they are comfortable with PyCharm or not, or whether they want to work with Eclipse. Then only I can confirm that with whether we can change the IDE or not. Will that be fine? According to you, PyCharm is more versatile. No problem. If others also say to use PyCharm, then we'll work with PyCharm. There is no issue. Okay? Yeah. So I'll just will create a new workspace over here. Yes. PyCharm is way too easy to work as well as far as the structure has been made. It's easy to work with, but we will work on it. There is no issue. I am comfortable with both. Just let others also see that which is easy, and we'll proceed with that. Okay. Yeah. So the welcome screen, the package explorer, outline list, everything, that what they are. So what I wanted to show is that if you'll go to this file and new option, you will get a number of options like Maven project, dynamic web project, simple files and folders. If I'll go to others as well, you will get a number of another folders. But you will see that there is no folder which is named by Python, or usually it comes up by the name PyDev. So there is no folder by that name. So if I have to work with Python in Eclipse, then I have to have a plugin that I just informed you that I just have to add a plugin into my Eclipse, and it's ready to go with Python, right? So what I'll do is just go to this help option, install new software, and over here you need to give a URL that is for the Python language only, that is pydev.org/updates. Once you will press enter, it will start collecting all the requirements and dependencies which needs to be added using this plugin. So these two will be added up when we'll restart our Eclipse after installation of this plugin. Fine, if I click on next, these three things will be added. I click on next, accept the condition, and it will start installing the plugin into my Eclipse. Now over here it will take some time, install anyway, and once it's done it will ask you to restart your Eclipse. So now if I'll go to this new option after restarting, right now over here I will not get that option. If I'll go to others, now you will find one more folder added over here, that is this PyDev folder. Now inside this PyDev folder, I can create either the package, either the module, either the project, whichever I want, I can create it. So if I'll create the PyDev project, I can give any name, like let's say basic for the time. Now it's giving me an error that the project interpreter is not specified. Again, if you have checked that checkbox while installing Python, this will become easy for you. Just need to go to this config first and path. It will take up Python from the environment variables and will set the project interpreter. Now this interpreter will be set up for the project. That means the whole project you can run using the same run option. You don't have to create another configurations or nothing like that. The same project interpreter is going to work. So if I'll click on it, it will start configuring my interpreter. If you haven't checked the checkbox, then you have to manually pick the location and send it over here. Okay. So once it's completed, over here the information will come for the interpreter. It's in process. It takes some time. Yeah. So the configuration is done and I have got it as my default Python interpreter. Just wait. Just click on finish and next. So this is the Project Explorer. You'll click on new and you will get the options to create either the package or the module. So if I'll create a module, let's say I'll name it as demo. So this is a module that has been created. Now module is nothing but a file in which Python code is written. If you'll go to the actual location in your system as well, it will show you a file with .py extension. Just right click, go to properties, and this button will take you to the actual location of this file in your system. And this is a file by the .py extension, differentiating that it's a Python file. And if I have a project, then it's a folder. If I have a package, that's a folder inside a folder. So in any case, I say module, that's nothing but a file that has been created. People do get confused over at this point that what is a module, why we are calling module. Okay. So this is how you can set up a project in Eclipse, even though you don't have the option to use the Python in Eclipse. Just by that plugin only, you are able to do that. Now if I'll just use the print statement, I'll say this is my first code in Eclipse. So I'll save this. Now there are a number of options from where you can run in Eclipse. Like from here you can run it, this green button, run as. You can right click on the file name, the module name, run as, Python run. You can click on the workspace and you will get the option. Also you can use the shortcut, that is Control F11. Python run. Okay. So here on my console, I am getting the same print statement. Okay. Now this was about these two components that we need to understand, that we need to have into a system to work with Python. Right. Now moving further to the next component that I need to have, that is Selenium. Because ultimately we are going to learn Selenium, so we do need to have it into our system. And it's just a file that I need to have into my system. It's not an executable file which I need to run. So installation of Selenium is easy. You just need to go to your command prompt, or I'll just will show you the official website of, yeah. So over here, when you will go to the options, this is the official website of Selenium. Just go to download. And over here you will get this command. You just need to run this command over your command prompt. And your Selenium will be automatically installed with the stable version. Fine, this is the stable version that we have seen in the starting. This particular version will be installed itself. If I'll just, now I have it in my system, so it won't say that it has been installed or something, but it will say requirement already satisfied. But you need to use pip install Selenium. Now this pip is nothing but a package manager. By using this pip, you can install and uninstall a number of packages that are not by default in Python. And this pip is already in your Python package. When you install Python, this pip is already there. So you need not to get it downloaded or installed from anywhere. It's available if you're using Python 3 version. Okay. So once you click enter, it will start collecting all the requirements and dependencies and will start installing this particular package into your system. Fine. So it takes some time sometimes. Or what we can do is we can run our command prompt as administrator. Yeah, just a minute. So over here I'll be giving the command again. So you can see it says requirement already satisfied. That means I have it in my system. But when you will download this, when you will install this particular package, it will tell you at the end that this package has been installed. And you can confirm that whether this package is in your system or not by using the command pip list. This will give a list of all the packages that you have installed using the pip command. Fine. So over here, these are the packages that I have in my system. But here is my Selenium along with the version specified. Fine. Now our Selenium is also into our system. Now I can work with Selenium as well. But I'm not going into that today. I'll just will show you some things like over here. To use this package, it's an external package, so I have to get it imported into my current module so that I can use it. Fine. Now if you are not a person who is aware of Python language much, or you don't have any experience of Python, then I'll request you to please go and watch the modules on the website starting from introduction to Python till the decorators and generators. In these 8 modules, every particular detail about the Python language which is required to work with Selenium, they all are covered, including how we can import the packages. If I have to import from particular location, then you will get to know everything from here only, along with the data types, that which data types are there in the Python language and everything. Fine. So you just need to go and watch these modules and you will find a number of things that are new. Fine. So now assuming that you have seen this, I'll just will import the Selenium package. I'll say import Selenium. That's done what I have to do. Now I'm just going to check a few details about Selenium, that where it's lying in my system, what's the version, or what's the name. That details also I can check using the package. So I'll say print Selenium dot. So when there are 5 options that I can check: file name, dict name, the name of the file, the path, and the version. So if I look for file name and I'll run this, this is the name of my file. This is the current file that has been loaded. The same way I can check the details also, like I can check the version, I can check the path, and I can also check, let's say, version. So in my system, this is the path of my Selenium where it's lying currently. So if I have to anytime go to my Selenium package for some details, I can follow this path. And the version, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm saying, yeah, exactly. Python provides you that flexibility that you don't have to get every jar file into your system. You don't have to manually get the configurations and documentations into your file. You don't have to do anything. Right now I have the Selenium written. I have not downloaded any documentation till time. You have seen yourself. I have just installed Eclipse. But over here I am getting the details. If I'll press F2, it will focus. Right? It will focus on my Selenium information. The same way if I'll take for print, the print documentation is over here. So I need not to. Yeah, it's coming. No plugins are required exceptionally to add. They are coming by default when you have given that plugin. It's coming from that only, from single plugin. Even though if you have some jar files, you need not to add any of them. It's not required until unless it's not included in the package. Fine. But there is hardly no jar file that I have seen and I have imported myself by doing some settings over here. There's nothing like that. It's way too easy. Okay, that's why I'm saying that Python is a very flexible language. It allows you a lesser work with a more efficient time. Right. Now this is the details that we can check using the Selenium package only. Now Selenium is a vast term. I cannot specify it by just saying that yes, it's Selenium. So we'll cover the Selenium concepts later on. But now the three components that were required to start off, three of those are into my system now. I can work anything, I can work anytime. Fine. So these were the basic installations and basic concepts that I needed to share on the first class. If you have any doubt, any query, you may come up. Yeah. With regarding the Java with Selenium, that I am not aware about, that Ashish sir knows. I'm not aware about that. I'm the one who is responsible for Python, and I am working on data driven framework right now. So once it's completed, we'll move further to the next one. Yeah. Any other questions or doubts? Good to go with this class. Any doubts in the class or the questions that you have in your mind? Sure, we'll see to it that whether others also say ask me to do so. So then we'll do that. We'll go for the majority ones, which majority goes to which side. Okay? Sure. So this was all for this video. I'll request you that get these installed into your system and try to work this much so that you also understand that how actually Python is working and how it's easy and how it's flexible. Fine. So thank you and see you tomorrow. Thank you.